Welcome, adventurers and lore-seekers. Today we delve into the shadowed history of Halaster Blackcloak and the infamous dungeon labyrinth he forged, Undermountain. Journey with me beneath the streets of Waterdeep to unravel the secrets of the Mad Mage and the deadliest dungeon in all of Faerun. Halaster Blackcloak, once called Halaster, was born during the late days of the Imaskari Empire, around -3920 DR. A prodigy and archwizard, Halister played a key role in binding the villainous Madriok the Ebon Flame, thus saving his homeland. Yet, as Imaskar fell, Halister fled into a temporal stasis, surviving the Empire's destruction by thousands of years. Emerging from stasis over 2 millennia later, Halaster, now calling himself Halaster, meandered across Faerun. Notably, in the 120s DR, he was employed by the Shun Imperium to create the Demon Shields, magical items designed to bind fiends. After this feat, Halaster vanished, his ambitions drawing him towards the Sword Coast and destiny. In 168 DR, Halaster Blackcloak arrived at Mount Waterdeep, accompanied by 7 powerful apprentices known as the Seven. On the Deepwater Plateau slopes, he constructed Halaster's Hold, a grand tower ringed by outbuildings and thrum with magical energy. But surface comfort soon paled beside the mysteries awaiting below. Halaster's ambitions led him to command planar creatures to dig tunnels beneath his hold. In time, these diggings broke into the ancient underhalls, the once majestic mithril mines and fortresses of the Malarican dwarves, long since lost to Drow and Dwerga invaders. Halaster had found his canvas, and his obsession took hold. From 171 DR, Halaster embarked on the infamous Halaster's Hunts, relentless crusades to wipe out the Dwerga and Drow clinging to the underhalls. His magic and summoned minions drove them out or destroyed them. By 309 DR, Halaster reigned supreme over the endless dark, and his descent into madness deepened. The 7 apprentices were not left untouched. By 307 DR, they began carving out their own lairs in Undermountain, but Halaster's increasing isolation tested them. Ultimately, 2 perished by his own hand. Of the rest, only the legendary Jessira Kestelharp escaped his dark grip, leaving the others to descend with him into madness. As centuries passed, Halaster ceased all connection with the surface, letting Halaster's Hold fall into ruin. Undermountain became his ever-expanding labyrinth of lairs, traps, and magical experiments, his private playground for collecting monsters, treasures, and testing spells. He would travel through planes, returning with bizarre creatures to fill his lairs. Halaster skillfully devised magical wards throughout Undermountain, making it a veritable fortress. Magic that could teleport, divine, or summon was rendered unreliable or unusable, turning the dungeon into a deadly maze. Only genuine skill and daring could hope to probe its secrets, making it irresistible and lethal to adventurers. The upper levels of Undermountain became renowned as a testing ground and gauntlet for would-be heroes. Halaster restocked these levels with deadly monsters and traps collected during his planar excursions to greet any who dared venture below the streets of Waterdeep. The deeper one delved, the deadlier the challenges. Over time, Undermountain's complexity grew. The structure encompasses a vast network of levels and sublevels, including the dungeon level, the arcane chambers for magical experimentation, the Sargorth level, defined by the subterranean river Sargorth, the infamous maze level, the sea deeps, and the fever dream-like Mad Wizard's Lair. Special features abound. Halaster crafted areas of magical dead zones, random portals, moving gateways, and chambers where illusions and magical manipulations warped reality. Many hazards make spells like Detect Magic virtually useless, since the entire dungeon radiates overwhelming magical energy, a further deterrent to clever intruders. Atmospherically, Undermountain's upper levels are cold and damp, but as one descends, volcanic activity warms the lower levels. The dungeon is well ventilated. Death by suffocation is rare, though some sealed chambers hold sour, dangerous air. Halister's magical and mundane designs ensure his captive audience always has air to breathe, for as long as they survive. Undermountain is connected to Waterdeep and its surroundings through countless entrances, some well-known like the infamous Yawning Portal Inn, and others hidden in tavern cellars, wells, and twisting sewer connections. Halister's enchanted portals also allow him to import monsters from across Faerun, ever refreshing Undermountain's dangers. Within the maze, specific locales developed a legendary reputation. The Bone Throne, the Cavern of Eyes, Grim Statue, Hall of Three Lords, Sundered Throne, and temples to forgotten gods. Each area tells a piece of the dungeon's epic, supported by layers of traps, puzzles, and lurking inhabitants drawn from every myth and nightmare. Below these major levels, sub-levels such as Willowwood, a magically sustained underground forest, Madgoth's castle with its bizarre size-altering field, and the citadel of the Bloody Hand, once a Thieves' Guild stronghold, all bear the marks of both the Malerkin dwarves and Halister's mad innovations. The deeper one plunges, the weirder things become. The caverns of ooze seethe with slimes serving ancient powers. Trobrion's graveyard holds cast-off constructs, and Mural's gauntlet is haunted by the twisted creations of the scorpion-bodied Mural himself. Each sub-level is a trap-laden experiment in terror and arcane artistry. Undermountain's surface history twines intimately with Waterdeep. As the city grew, sewer projects broke into Halister's labyrinth. The Lords of Waterdeep began using Undermountain as an exile for criminals. Durnan and Mirt the Merciless made their legends and fortunes here, memorialized by the Yawning Portal Tavern, the true door to the depths. Halister's mastery affected more than monsters and infrastructure. His very will and madness permeated the dungeon. If he was absent or perished, Undermountain's enchantments could spiral out of control, opening portals, unleashing monsters, and unleashing chaos into Waterdeep and beyond. Only Mistress Chosen could stabilize this arcane storm. Through the ages, Halaster sought immortality, weaving scores of contingencies and creating multiple magical clones hidden throughout Undermountain. These clones, each a unique vessel, allowed him to return from death or even move his consciousness into new forms, some even resisting the ravages of time or disease and developing new magical abilities. Despite his infamous insanity, Hal was not mad at all times. Within Undermountain, he was a cackling, unpredictable force. But outside, rare though it was, he could present as coldly rational, dignified, and methodical. Always self-serving and thoroughly evil, never forgetting slights or kindnesses, and always seeking to control his reality. Halister was a master collector and creator of magic items and spells. His magical arsenal ranged from rings and daggers to unique spells such as Halister's Black Sphere, Halister's Grappling Hand, and Teleportation Rings. Many such items lie scattered throughout Undermountain, enticing yet entrapping the greedy and curious. Beyond magic, Halister commanded a host of servants and constructs, helmed horrors, crawlers, and golems. He even played ninepin in the Growling Groghouse, a tavern deep in his own maze, and would occasionally meddle in Waterdeep's politics, purely for his own amusement or arcane experimentation. His apprentices, too, give Undermountain its singular flavour. Shradin Mullafor established Skullport, connecting Undermountain to the Underdark. Arcturia, known for dreadful polymorph experiments, and Trobriond, artificer of constructs, each carved infamous domains. All descended into madness, following in their master's spiralling footsteps. Jesira Kestelharp, once escapee and later magister, became a living wish spell, a testament to Halister's unpredictable magic and cruelty. The legacy of the Apprentices even seeded an academy called Halister's Heirs on the dungeon level, where arcane innovation and insanity propagated in equal measure. Despite centuries of isolation, Halister's infamy only grew. Adventurers, criminals, wizards, and fools from across the realms sought fortune and glory in Undermountain. Most never returned. Some became part of the dungeon's living story, transformed, killed, or enslaved, adding new layers to the mythos of the Mad Mage's labyrinth. Not even deities have been immune to Halister's schemes. In the late 14th century DR, Mystra herself bargained with Halister, promising to cure his madness if he would rescue Elminster from Avernus. Though the rescue failed, Mystra offered partial relief for his sanity, in the process weaponizing his madness against Asmodeus himself. In 1369 DR, Halaster was kidnapped by agents of the Twisted Rune using a ring of multiple wishes. His absence caused Undermountain's portals and magic to go berserk, a disaster called Halaster's High Harvestide. Adventurers barely rescued him in time to restore order, highlighting just how entwined his will is with the stones below. Tragedy struck in 1375 DR when Halaster's ambitious ritual went awry. He hurled visions of rage and arcane destruction across Faerun as he was seemingly killed. Waterdeep trembled in an earthquake, and mages saw flashes of a shattered Undermountain. But the truth was stranger. Halaster's essence scattered across the plains, not destroyed. The spell plague in 1385 DR prevented Halaster's essence from reforming within a clone, leaving Undermountain's balance disrupted for a century. Only with the end of the spell plague and the second sundering could Halaster return, his consciousness snapping back to Undermountain, a mad god in the darkness once more, with the dungeon stabilizing with his return. Among the many mysteries of Halaster's character is his origin as the Imaskari archwizard Halaster. He lived long before Elminster, fought ancient evils, and bore centuries of arcane knowledge into the present age. Some speculate his madness is the price of so much power, isolation, and contact with planar forces no mortal mind can endure. Undermountain itself endures as the most famous deadly mega-dungeon of D&D's Forgotten Realms. Legends tell of lost treasures, the Mad Wizard's own hoard, ancient dwarven relics, and the tombs of kings. Even now, new portals open, new monstrosities appear, and the lure of adventure remains irresistible for those drawn to the unknown. Halaster's magic is said to still ripple through the weave. Many of his spells and items, Halaster's teleport cage, his drifting portals, and the infamous horned ring, have left lasting marks in magical theory across Faerun. For arcane scholars, studying Halaster is both a temptation and a cautionary tale. To this day, the Yawning Portal remains Waterdeep's connection to Undermountain's depths. Durnan, the immortal proprietor, shares stories of lost heroes and treasures from deep below for a coin, and offers passage for those who feel lucky, brave, or foolish enough to challenge the dungeon or its Mad Mage. Recent events suggest Halaster is as active as ever. The adventuring parties enter Undermountain daily, and some even report encountering the Mad Mage himself, sometimes helpful, sometimes cryptic, always unpredictable. Halaster's games continue, as do the mysteries of his undying mind and ever-shifting maze. From Hilfer of Imaskar to the Mad Mage of Waterdeep, Halaster's legacy is that of creation, destruction, and arcane obsession. In turning the ruins of dwarven kings into the realm of nightmares and challenges, he's left a mark on the realms that persists from age to age, deep below the bustling city above. And so concludes our descent into the lore of Halaster Blackcloak and the infamous Undermountain. If you dare to journey below, remember, you do so at the whim of the Mad Mage, and you may just become part of his legendary labyrinth forever. Until next time, may your wits be sharp and your spells be ready.